Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Friday, December 13th, Friday the 13th, 2019, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day and the final day of the trading week. There we go. I do mention each day that it is my preference to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day, ideally as close to the close of the market as possible. The reason I say that, and the reason that's my opinion, is that during the day you have the algorithms, you have the day traders battling it out. I considered a lot of noise during the end of the day, and particularly the last few minutes. The large financial institutions, market makers come in, make their end of day bets or buy their positions, and I always believe that their outlook on the market and what they consider the most valid prices are the closing prices, and they move those prices, those close, right at the end. So those are the prices that I make the majority of my buying and selling decisions from. I think they're the most valid prices, and therefore it's logical to make your buying and selling decisions from those prices. So anyway, kind of an interesting day. We were up higher, we've been down. Dow is down up 4 points at the moment. Excuse me. I had some macadamia nuts and I got caught in my throat. NASDAQ is the strongest, up 21 points, and the S&P is up 0.84. So not a big moving day today, all in all. So anyway, listen, I appreciate everybody coming today. As usual, it's nice to have you here. It's great to see you every day. I really do appreciate you coming, spending your time. I hope that you are learning something from watching these live streams and that it's helping your trading and investing. So, all right, Okay, Evan's here. Hey, Evan, good to see you, sir. Evan says, good afternoon. AT&T doesn't seem to want to move up for us. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a stick in the mud there, isn't it, Evan? It's holding. It's off of its lows today, which is good, but we have had a couple other good trades, thankfully. Good to see you, Evan. Nice to see you, William Green. William says, good day to all. Good day to you, William Green. Always nice to have you here. The reason I say William Green is because we have William right underneath us, and that's William from Hawaii with his Labradoodle Cooper. So nice to see you, William. Looks like that was a good exit on Verizon for you when you took it yesterday. So glad to see that. So anyway, how's everybody doing today? JT says, I'm currently watching your Traders Roundtable discussion. Oh, thanks, JT. Appreciate that. Nice to see you. Yeah, I posted that last night with Steve Burns and Christopher Uhl and myself. So hope you enjoy that. It's kind of interesting. I talk a lot about the end of day SPY trade. I don't know if you've got to that point yet, but Aman Solo, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Hello, Greg. Hello, folks. Hello, Aman Solo. Nice to see you, sir. So, alrighty. Well, listen, the plan for today, as usual, first of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at all my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and more importantly, how I'm going to manage them going forward, either to the upside or the downside. After that, we're going to spend a few minutes talk about some trading psychology concepts. I beat you guys over the head every day with this, but I do it with love because I think it is so important. But it's important to learn how to trade. It's important to be able to analyze a chart, look for support, resistance levels, entries, exits, all that. That is definitely important, and it's important in putting together a good trading plan. But after you have the plan in place, can you stick to your plan? So many people have a very, very difficult time doing that, and that comes down to discipline, and that circles back to emotions. So you start making money, you want to get out of a position, you start losing money, you want to get hopeful that it's going to come back. And so it doesn't matter how good of a chartist you are, if you can't follow your plan, you're going to have a difficult time making money. So following your plan is a skill. It's the most important skill that you can learn in trading. So if you find yourself not being able to follow your plan, you need to do some work on yourself, and you need to work on the skill of following your plan. So maybe if I put it in that context, that it is a skill. If you can't do it, you need to hone that skill. You need to get better at that skill. So we are going to talk a little bit about trader psychology, see if we can find something helpful, and hopefully you guys will internalize it and start following your plan, because it is important. After that, we're going to go down through my watch list. We're going to look at each stock one by one. We're going to look at support levels, resistance levels, indicators like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels. And the way that I view trading is I look at each indicator as a potential group of buyers. And if you want to enter a stock on the long side or the short side, but we'll talk about the long side here. If you want to enter a stock on the long side, your chances go way up to have a profitable trade if you're with as many other buyers as possible. So if I look at one indicator as a group of buyers, and then I look at this other indicator over here as a different group of buyers, then I have two groups of buyers. So I'm looking for a combination or a confluence of indicators coming together, or another way to say that is a combination or a confluence of indicators coming together. So I look at them the same way. Confluence of indicators, I look as groups of buyers, and the more buyers you have, the better, right? So that's what I look for. That's step one. Step two is you need to make sure, even though you have a confluence of buyers or a confluence of indicators, that you still have a good risk to reward ratio in your trade. You have to make more to the upside than you're risking to the downside. So that's step two. Step three is you have to make sure that you do not have too many correlated positions. You can't have 5 tech stocks. You're not diversified, right? You have 5 positions, but they're all in the same industry. So you need to make sure you have some diversification in your holdings, maybe a tech stock, maybe a healthcare stock, maybe a tobacco stock, maybe some oil or bonds or gold or something like that, right? So step one, look for a confluence or a combination of indicators. Step two, make sure you have a good risk to reward ratio. Step three, make sure you have some diversification and you're not too highly allocated in any one industry group with your position. So that's it. Then after the market closes, if you have any questions or comments, you need some clarification on something that I discussed today, please let me know. Happy to clarify it for you. If you have any stock symbols that you would like me to take a look at, I'm happy to give you my humble opinion. And if you have some stock symbols that you think look good and would be possibly helpful for the group before the market closes, go ahead, put them in the live chat and maybe put a star by them, something like that, so I know it's time sensitive and I can look at it, give you my opinion, break down the chart before the end of the day. All right, sound good? So that is the plan for today. So if you could hang tight, I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Man Solo said, saw the podcast too, liked it. Oh, great to hear that. Thank you, Man Solo. Frank, how you doing, Frank? Good to see you, sir. Respect the line on the chart you have, but have more respect for the line that only you can draw, and that's the one that separates you from your money. Ah, that sounds good. Let me read that again. Respect the lines on a chart, but have more respect for the line that only you can draw, and that's the one that separates you from your money. That's true. I call that the line in the sand, Frank, right? Those moving averages, my stops, those are lines in the sand. If you're on one side of the line, we're good. If you're on the other, we're not good, and I'm out of the position. But thanks for that, Frank. That's good advice. William Green says, I need to change my handle to Bill. William is for when I'm in trouble with the wife. Yeah, that sounds about right. When I was growing up, my mom would say Greg when I was a good boy, but if I did something bad, she would call me Gregory. Gossett. As soon as I heard those words, I knew I was in trouble. Hey, Clarence Beeks, what's going on, Jesse? Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming by today. Hope you're having a good day. Natum, hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. Always nice to see you here, and nice to see you chatting with us too. It says, hey, Greg and all. Hello, Natum. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. All right, well, should we get to it? Let's get to it. First position. I've had this position for a while. I bought Beyond Meat back here on the 5th of December. Under 30, over 30. It closed under 30 would have been my stop, but fortunately it did go my way. Next day had a huge day up, did hit a profit target. My stop loss here now is a close below halfway of this bar. I'm not going to let this go all the way down to 30 because Beyond Meat's such a large percentage mover. So close below halfway of this bar, I would get out. Fortunately, it has stayed above. Here we had a decent day, hit one profit target. Up a little bit today. Not much, but we are up today. Have not hit a profit target. It's kind of just moving sideways here. I was thinking earlier, if this closed negative, I was probably going to go ahead and just get out. Not because it hit my price stop, but kind of a time stop. You know, it's just kind of lollygagging around here. It hasn't done much. So I think that's my plan. If we close negative today, I'm going to just go ahead, lock in the profits. Still like a 2.5% profit all in all, maybe a little bit more because I took some up here at higher points. But anyway, so far so good. And that's my plan for today. If we close negative, just gives me a reason to get out. When I take a trade, you know, the best trades move in your direction right away. This one has not. This one, as you can see, obviously is just moving sideways. So when I have something that starts moving sideways, not going my way, it concerns me. So I have to have some kind of trigger, essentially, right, to kind of tell me that my line in the sand. But my line in the sand is if we close negative today, I'm going to go ahead, just take this off and lock in the profit. But it's been a good trade, even though it doesn't really look like it because the percentages are so large. So that's the plan. If it closes positive, I will go ahead and keep it. All right, Philip Morris. So Philip Morris has been a really nice trade. It's a good example of a pullback to value, sideways movement, false breakout to the downside and reversal, or another way to say that is a V1. But here we're above the 1 ATR channel. We come back into the ATR channel. That's what I want. Then I need some sideways movement showing that there's some support and some consolidation. Definitely got it. And then on the day that I bought it, we had a false break to the downside, reversal back up, close above previous day's close. So day one, day two. Day two washes out day one, closes above day one, and this has been a fantastic trade. As you can see, it's almost got out yesterday with a close below the previous day's low, but it did hold. I did hold it earlier today. Wasn't looking so hot, but today it has moved up nicely and did hit one profit target today. My stop on this, because we've moved much larger than 1 ATR away from my entry, will be a close below the previous day's low to the upside. If we reject the 70 RSI up here, that will also be a reason for me to lock in profits. But very grateful for Philip Morris. Been a great trade so far. All right, SPY. So in case we have some new viewers today, I do want to go over quickly why I do buy the SPY. I buy the SPY ETF, S&P 500 ETF every day at the close. I sell it first thing the next morning, every day, regardless of resistance levels, support levels, overbought levels. Doesn't matter. I just buy it at the close, sell it first thing in the morning. And I do this because of this long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. She's the chief investment officer at Charles Schwab. So with this approach, they tested two approaches. With this test, they tested two approaches. Approach number one, buy the SPY every day right at the open, sell it first, or sell it at the close each day. So buy the open, sell the close, buy the open, sell the close. If you would have done this each day since 1993, you'd have returned a negative 13.9% for all your troubles. However, if you did the opposite and you bought the SPY at the close like I do, sell it first thing the next morning every day since 1993. So buy the close, sell the morning, buy the close, sell the morning every day since 1993, you'd have actually returned a positive 634.2% return. So past performance is no guarantee of future results. Of course, that is true with any trading approach, but looking at this back test, this approach, the approach I use, has definitely performed much better than the buy at the open, sell at the close. So that's why I buy at the close, sell at the open. You can see the blue line, the buy at the open, sell at the buy at the close, sell at the open has been very profitable over the years. The buy at the open, sell at the close has not been profitable. So if I'm going to pick one of these methods, I'm going to pick the one that has the good track record. I like this chart because it shows you, if you take a long-term view of trading and position size correctly, that if you have an edge, how it can really play out. There's ups and downs in between. It's to be expected. So anyway, that is why I buy the SPY every day at the close and sell it at the open. And I did do that exact thing yesterday. I bought it at 317.13 and sold it at 316.83. So I had a very, very small loss on this. That's how it goes. When I saw the futures last night, I thought, oh boy, we're going to have a great gap up. But just goes to show you, you look at the futures at nighttime before you go to bed, you're kind of expecting it to be the same in the morning. It's not. It's not. So anyway, very small loss. I did hit an all-time high using this approach on yesterday, small gain. So anyway, small loss today. I will be buying this again today at the end of the market. All right, so Evan showed me this trade. I did like it. I bought AT&T back here on the 10th of December. The reason I bought it is we had closed below the 1 ATR channel. This is the green line. We had rallied back into the value zone. We had a couple days down here and here, and then we had a false breakout to the downside and reversal. That is my trigger. It's called a V1. Day 1, day 2 washes out day 1, day 2, day 2 closes above day 1's close, and that was my entry. My stop would have been very close here if I was wrong. Closed below halfway of the washout bar. That's the red line, but it has moved up. Boom, boom. Took a profit target yesterday. Today, intraday, we did go back down and test that level, but did find support and rallied back off of that. So it has not moved far enough for me to institute a trailing stop. I need it to move at the very least more than 1 ATR away from my entry, showing that it's outside of noise. So as it is right now, down slightly today, but my initial stop here is about $38 if it closes below $38 on a closing basis. If we get above 1 ATR from the entry, then I will start trailing it with a close below the previous day's low or some kind of rejection above, like the 70 RSI. Okay, Walmart. So Walmart's been a nice trade. I did buy Walmart yesterday on the 12th. I bought it. I guess I should show you a bigger picture here. We were above the 1 ATR channel, and I don't like to buy above the 1 ATR channel because I consider this overpriced or overextended. I want it to revert back to the mean, which is in between the 1 and the -1 ATR channels. I need some sidewards movement. Obviously, we've got some sideways movement here in a big, big way. And, you know, when you have sideways movement, when you have a lot of consolidation, what that really means is it is going to go one way or the other, either to the upside strongly or the downside eventually strongly, but I just don't know which way it's going to go, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do know it's going to happen. But I did buy it yesterday when we had this V2. Here is day 1, day 2, washed out day 1, day 3, which is the day that I bought it, closed above day 1's close. We also had a 520 EMA crossover, which doesn't hurt. I wouldn't have bought it just because the 520 crossover, but you know, cherry on top, I do like it because we had this higher low V2 here and we had the 520 crossover. Today we have a MACD crossover, which also helps. So it has moved up nicely. We did hit one profit target today. So all in all, nice profitable day today. Thankful for that for sure. So Beyond Meat, looking good here. As long as it closes positive, I will keep it. Philip Morris got a little sketchy today, but rallied like a champion, hit one profit target. SPY, small loss overnight. We'll be buying this again today. AT&T is really about the only stinker here. But close below halfway, the washout bar will be my initial stop. And then Walmart, nice. Don't like that it rejected the 1 ATR channel, but it's fine. Made a higher high, made a higher low. Everything's looking good. MACD just crossed over and one profit target. But what I like about Walmart, doesn't mean it's going to work, but I do like the wind up and the move, right? And now we've it may be showing its hand a little bit. In addition, we did take out this previous range yesterday. We went above it yesterday, which is also, good. So, so that is it. That is it. Let's take a look. Marco, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. I hope you're having a nice evening. Thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate you being here every day. Really do. If there's anything I can help you with, Marco, you please let me know, okay? Frank says, Robinhood will be introducing a platform for trading fractional shares next week. Should be interesting. Ah, that is interesting. So you can trade a fraction of a share. So like you can buy a tenth of an Amazon share, which is good. I mean, a lot of people out there really can't buy a complete share of something. And so this offers people the ability to do that. Interesting, Frank. Thanks for sharing that. Pat O'Connell. Hi, Pat. How you doing? Thank you for coming by. I haven't seen you here before, so thank you very much and appreciate you coming and saying hi. Pat says, hi, Greg. Are you always long on the SPY? I'm always long on the SPY at the end of the day, yes, because I buy the SPY right at the close, but then I sell it first thing the next morning. So I'm always long overnight on the SPY, but I'm not long the SPY during the day. Does that make sense, Pat? Steve Burns, hey buddy, good to see you. Appreciate you coming by. Always nice to have you here. Always a pleasure. I'm always excited to see you there, and I know everyone else is. Be able to kind of rub shoulders with Steve. It's a big thing, so thank you so much. Steve says, today the stock market indexes bought the dips and sold the rips to end up about even. Yep, that's exactly right. And I'm sure everyone has heard about buying the dips, but selling the rips means selling the moves up. So they're selling any moves up, buying any moves down. And hey, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it for including me on your Twitter list today. Always appreciate that. Thank you so much. Nadim says, Greg, any thoughts on SGEN and plan? Well, let's take a look. SGEN. This really doesn't jump out at me, Nadim. If this had gone, this is the 50 RSI line, not the 30. If it had gone under 30, over 30, I would have liked it. We did have a V1 yesterday, but it's up against this bar, which is larger than 1 ATR. There's not really any other corresponding combinations or confluence of the signal. You had a V1, but this is a subpar V1. It's not in the value zone or lower, like in the low RSIs. It did have a V1. We rejected the negative 1 ATR channel, which is above us. I honestly, I don't like it. I guess the place to have taken it would have been yesterday, but I don't like how it's rejected the 10 and the 20 and the negative 1 ATR. It is holding the 50 RSI, but honestly, what I would be looking for is to move back up into the value zone, have a couple days down, and then look for that higher low V1 or V2. That's my opinion on that stock. And then let's look at plan. Okay, so, I mean, this definitely has some good things going for it. I personally wouldn't take it, and the reason why is, see how we came into the value zone, then we rallied, we made a lower high than this high. If this happens, if we come back into the value zone, rally, but then fail, I need to wash out the previous low before I can take a V1 or a V2. You can see it has not washed out that low yet. I mean, it is a decent V1 today, but it didn't. I mean, it is a V1 today, I should say that. I don't know if it really washed it out by a quarter ATR. On the washouts, ideally you want to have a washout of at least a quarter of an ATR distance. It looks like it's above 30. It looks like it's above the moving, most of the moving averages other than the 10. I mean, it's not bad. It's not particularly bad, but the washout is not at least a quarter, and we have a lower high without washing out the previous low. So me personally, I wouldn't take it. But if I did take it, I would use halfway of the washout bar here, in the coming days. I would use a close below halfway of the washout bar here as my stop. But from a risk to reward ratio, it makes sense because you have a decent small loss to the downside, and you could rally up here, challenge these previous highs, challenge the 70 RSI. But me personally, I would not take that because it didn't wash, the V1 didn't wash out, and we have a lower high in place, and it has not washed out the low. So that's my opinion there. Pat says, yes, thank you. Okay, good. JT says, on your SPY trade, do you trade the same number of shares or roll in the earnings? No, I mean, I just compound it, JT. I mean, I take whatever my balance is, capital balance is at the end of the day, take 10% and then buy that many shares of the SPY, right? So, if I have a drawdown, I'm going to have 10% less capital. I'm going to have 10% of less capital. I'll buy fewer shares. As my capital account goes up, I'll take 10% of that and buy 10% of SPY with that. So it's not same number of shares. It's 10% of whatever my capital account balance is that day. Hey, Christopher, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Hope you're having a nice evening in England. Steve says, more than 200,000 accounts signed up for the fractional stock trading on day one, Robinhood says. Wow, no kidding. Interesting. I guess they'll figure out how that all works with the bid and the ask, and I guess that's why they have computers. A man Solo says, Dell running out of steam. Let's take a look at Dell. Oh, that's right. I forgot, guys. I forgot to go through our, let's see. So a man Solo, let's go here. A man Solo bought Marathon Petroleum yesterday, moved up nicely. Don't know if a man Solo took any profits or profit targets. Looks like there was one there, but now has reversed. So what's your plan there with MPC, a man Solo? VWM, so Addie has this. I know she bought it back here. I don't know if she used the 30 RSI as her stop. If she did, then she stayed in here, had a nice move up, big move down today. So I don't know if Addie's listening, but if you are, be interesting to see how you're going to manage this trade. And then Dell, a man Solo bought Dell back here with this nice V1 here, right? Moved sideways a little bit, had a nice little V1, has moved up nicely, was up higher today, has a little bit of a V1 to the downside today. So okay, so MPC is closed below halfway. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I thought you got out of PGTI. Woo! Or did you stay in it? I can't remember. You're welcome, Natum. You are certainly welcome, my friend. All right. So listen, this is the time of the day that I like to talk about good trading words of wisdom, some trading psychology, some tips and things like that. But, Thomas Payne on Twitter, at Trader T-Pain on Twitter. Thomas is literally one of the best Twitter channels out there. He posts such good information, good words about wisdom, about trading words of wisdom, psychology, so forth. So if you haven't subscribed to Thomas, I would really suggest it. He's really great. I mean, he's one of my favorites. But I thought this was interesting because you know how I talk about buying at the end of the day. I want to take my cues from the large financial institutions because I feel like they have the best handle on what the best prices are. They have the best information. So when I saw this, I thought it was pertinent. But large financial institutions move the markets. They perform a ton of research. They buy what they think will grow. Their buying shows up on price charts. Once they start buying, they continue to buy. Don't try to outsmart them. Follow their money trail. It doesn't lie. And this is so true. And this is really why I choose to make my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day, because I know that the large financial institutions are coming in at the end of the day, right? And based upon what just Thomas said, they have tons of research. They buy what they think will grow. Their buying shows up on charts. Once they start buying, they continue buying. And their buying does show up on charts, right? At the end of the day, you see their buying or selling in those last few minutes. So don't try to outsmart them. Follow their money trail. It doesn't lie. And it's so true. And I might also add that, with technical analysis, this is just my opinion, but one of the reasons I believe that technical analysis does work, I believe, is because it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. People see things at the 30 RSI. People see things to a pullback to the 200-day or a crossover or so forth. But that is why that's why I prefer to trade very well-known stocks that are followed by large institutions, right? If you have great indicators on a very small stock that's not watched by big financial institutions, those signals are not going to be as valid as they are on a stock that's widely followed, like an Apple or an Amazon or something like that. So anyway, thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. And but yeah, this is why, in a nutshell, this is why I choose to make my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day, because real quick, the large financial institutions buy at the end of the day. They sell at the end of the day. They perform a ton of research. They buy what they think will grow. Their buying shows up on price charts. Once they start buying, they continue buying. Don't try to outsmart them. Follow their money trail. It doesn't lie. So thank you, Thomas. Celtic, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. I think this is the first time I've seen you, but thank you. Celtic says, hey, Greg, have really been enjoying these shows the past weeks. Wonder if you could give me your opinion on Dollar Tree. Went below the 30 RSI and now above. Yeah, let's take a look. I had a trade on Dollar Tree a while back. Let me see what day. So we were under over here. Did we go back under? Yeah, looks like we went back here. Intraday, we went under and over. That would be a valid place to buy right there, as long as it stayed above. And that was a good place to buy. We have a MACD crossover here. Looks like we might close above the 10-day, which would be good because we have not closed above that 10-day for a long time. We went under the third ATR channel, over the third ATR channel. It's not bad. I mean, MACD, we had positive MACD crossover. We went under the third, over the third, under the 30, over the 30. I would have liked you to have been able to buy it here, but it was still under the third ATR channel. It seems like all in all, that was probably the day. Let's see, did we take out this high? 94.26, 93, 92. So not yet. It's pretty good. I don't know, honestly, if I would buy it right here. I don't like buying a couple days after the signal happened, but that's just a preference. But, one way to look at this is if it closed above the 10-day moving average, that would be good. It would show something new is happening. It's been so long since we've had a close over the 10-day. So that is positive, been under the 10-day, under the third ATR channel. Now we're possibly over the 10-day, over the third ATR channel, MACD. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty good actually. I guess if I did buy this right here, if I wanted to use a really tight stop, I'd use a close below the 10. If I want to give myself more room, I would give a close under the 30. Okay, a man solo did get out of PGTI yesterday. Okay, that's what I thought. Alan Bailey. Hi, Alan. Nice to see you. Alan says, I'm still in PGTI. Oh, good. PGTI. Waiting to hit the 3 ATR or better before closing before previous day's low. Okay, good. Well, listen, you have a plan. I mean, look, we have the third ATR channel right here at the confluence of the 200-day moving average. This is 100%. If we rejected this to the upside, I would definitely lock in my profits there. I would, if it does. So, but it sounds like you have a plan, and nice job on that trade, Alan. And thanks for coming by, and thank you for saying hi. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm going to have to hustle down through these. I'm going to go a little faster than normal to leave myself some more room to answer questions about your particular stocks that you want to look at. So if you notice me going through a little faster, that's why. But I will stop and discuss the ones that look decent today. So okay, Apple, of course, it's too high. I need a pullback. I need a dip into value with some kind of V1 or V2 trigger. Adobe had earnings very, very strong, 75.20 RSI above the third ATR channel. Just too high here. It's not a good risk to reward ratio up here. I need a pullback. Advanced Micro Devices, huge day yesterday. Thing that's a little concerning. See how we made the high? See, we broke out to a new high yesterday. Now we've closed under this high, so we've closed back in the base. Not particularly positive. We do have a MACD bearish divergence. We have the MACD bars here showing momentum strong. Now we went higher without any MACD bars, and you're going to see this on a lot of charts. So, Dr. Alexander Elder, who I studied with, he would consider this very bearish. So, for what it's worth, but nothing here. Amazon is not really participated in this. When I'm looking for Amazon, I'm looking for a close over the 250. That's a good back-tested approach. Or if we could come back down, test this low, some kind of V1, V2, or a dip under 30 over 30, or a 550 crossover. One of those any of those would do it. Close over 250, 520, 550 crossover. Test of the previous low with a nice V1 or V2 formation, or a dip to the 30, but nothing on Amazon currently. Boeing, nothing, it's at a 37 RSI. I'd look for a dip to the 30 at this point. Berkshire Hathaway, very, very strong yesterday. Just too high, 67, 66 RSI. Looks like it possibly could have rejected the 70 RSI here today. Let's take a quick look. Did it get up to 70? Yeah, it did. So it went above 70, under 70, above the third, under third. Those are not good. Those are not good indications. Doesn't mean it's going to go crashing down, but for what it's worth, if I'm, I love to buy something under 30, over 30, under the third, over the third. So therefore, this went over the 70, under the 70, over the third, under the third. It's a bit bearish in my eyes, but I need to pull back into the value zone to get interested. Beyond Meat, okay. I said I was going to get out of this if we close negative on the days, but we're still positive, so we'll see what happens. Caterpillar, today we tested this high over here, failed this previous range here. We went above, underneath. So all in all, it looks a little bearish, but nothing on Caterpillar today. The Dow, same thing. We had we we did break above the previous high, and we seem to be holding it here. So that is positive, but it's way too high. I need a pullback. Walt Disney, boy, had this huge move up. I've been waiting for a pullback into value. The pullback did come, but no trigger. Then we rallied, but now we have a lower high. See how this high is lower than this high? So in order for me to get interested, I need to wash out this first low. Etsy, boy, gapped up big today, reversed. Nothing there. I was looking to buy Etsy here on this V2, but it untriggered at the end of the day, so I didn't take it. So we were under the 1 ATR channel, back in the ATR, back in the value zone. Couple days down now. Look for a higher low V1, V2 is what I'd be looking for. Facebook, you know, had that antitrust news that came out yesterday. Just got clobbered, continuing to go down. You know, what I would be interested in Facebook down in this area, this confluence of the negative third ATR channel and the 100-day moving average, and getting close to low 30. So right here, right? Pin that up on your wall. If we get down here, that's probably a pretty decent place. Gives you a good risk to reward ratio. 5 below, nothing on 5 below. Gold miners. Opened lower, went down, reversed back up. We went above the 1 ATR channel, closed back into the value, or moved back into the value zone. Sideways movement, V1, V2 is what I would be looking for. Gold. Okay, guys. Well, here we go. Had the 520 EMA cross today. The last 3 times I've taken this, that has not worked out. However, I am going to take it again today. It is a good back-tested approach. When the 5 EMA crosses over the 20, it doesn't win very often, but when it wins, it can offer you a really nice big move. If you're wrong, you're most likely going to be wrong small. So I will be buying gold at the end of the day based upon that crossover. Google, just too high, need a pullback. Goldman Sachs did have the 520 crossover here. I guess about break even. Was a little higher here. So nothing here. I need to pull back into value. Home Depot. This is a tough one. I've been very patient. I've been waiting for a close under or a read under and back over. It hasn't quite got there. It didn't quite touch the 200-day moving average today. So I'm just gonna have to wait on this. If I miss it, I miss it. But I'm looking for a rejection of the 200-day, close back above, or a close under, close back above, or under 30 over 30. IBB over the 70 RSI, nothing there. Intel, looks like Kurt's doing really well with the premiums, that the puts that he sold down to $52, so this is looking excellent. Nothing there. Russell 2000. Above the 1 ATR channel, I need to pull back into value. Johnson & Johnson, just too high. I need to pull back into the value zone. Coca-Cola strong today. A lot of the defensive, consumer defensive stocks are strong today, like tobaccos, some of the healthcare, the drugs, the like Coca-Cola. So nothing on Coke, but it's something interesting to think about. That looks like some money is moving into those. Lockheed Martin was above the 1 ATR channel, in the value zone, sideways movement, but I would have to look for some kind of V1 or V2. Technically, it is a V2. Here's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 2, but barely washed out day 1. It's not enough for me to get interested in this. MasterCard, very, very strong today. Huge double top with the bearish divergence. Here's the top with the MACD bars. Here we make a higher high with the small MACD bars. Again, something to think about. A lot of the markets have double tops with bearish divergences, which in my opinion is bearish. McDonald's strong again today. Of course, this is another kind of defensive stock. Nothing there. Altria tobacco, it's been strong above the 1 ATR channel. Now I just need it to pull back into value, sideways movement, get a V1 or V2. Merck, same, nice uptrend, but I need to pull back into value to get interested. Microsoft, very strong today. Looks like it made a new high. over 70 RSI, so it means it's very, very strong. I just need to pull back into value. Netflix, been weak. Closed under the 1 ATR channel. I need to move back up into the value zone, couple days down, and then I need a higher low V1 or V2 trigger to get back long. Nike, up against the 3rd ATR channel. It's having a very difficult time with that Keltner channel there. Need to pull back into value. Of course, Philip Morris we bought it with this sideways movement in V1. It's moved up very nicely, one profit target today. So this looks fine as a keeper. I don't think we have to do anything with this. PayPal, I was considering taking this V2 here, but I decided not to because we came back into the value zone, but then just down, down, down. I didn't have enough sideways movement. So anyway, looks like PayPal is doing very well. If I was in this trade and it closed below the 200, I would probably get out, but I'm not. The Qs, looks like we made a new high today. We have a triple top divergence. We have a high with this high bar, with this high of MACD. We have a pullback. We went higher, had a little green, pulled back. Now we're higher than that. We have no green. Dr. Alexander Elder calls this a triple top with the bearish divergence. So nothing there. Silver, under the 1 ATR channel, back into the value zone. We need a pullback for a couple days, V1, V2, or a 520 EMA crossover. The SPY, of course, I'm going to buy this at the end of the day, sell it first thing Monday morning. Bonds, boy, this had a whipsaw. This was up, down, immediately back up. We were under the 1 ATR channel, need to go back in the value zone. Couple days down, V1, V2. Tesla, we've tested this previous high here, rejected it, closing back under, false breakout to the upside. So nothing there for me. Twitter, nothing on Twitter. We came into the value zone, made a lower high, need to wash out this previous low. United Healthcare, strong, need to pull back into value. Oil, strong, need to pull back into value before I could get interested. VIX, we got out of VIX yesterday, thankfully, right? Look at this. So I would be, but look here, we have a bottom, we have a rally. Now we made a lower low. Here we had red bars. Now we have no red bars. So this is in a strange way bullish. It's setting up for potential double bottom with a bullish divergence, but you need some kind of trigger. Trigger would be under 30, back over 30. Verizon, William got out of this yesterday, I believe, which I'm glad, so that saved him some grief there. But nothing on Verizon. Pull back into value zone, sideways movement would be interesting. Of course, we had a good trade here on Walmart yesterday. Did hit one profit target. This looks fine. Energy Select to get rejected at the 200-day moving average, so nothing there. Financials, too high up here, need to pull back into value. Real estate, it did bounce off the 200. It did not test the 30 RSI, so that's all it did was reject the 200. I don't think it's enough for me to take this trade. If it closed under 30 and back over 30, that might be another thing. Utilities, big strong day today. Is a V2. Here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1 washes out day 1, closing above day 1's close. It's a little too high in the channel for me to buy it here, however. And then healthcare. So the only thing that I see today, everybody, the only thing I see today is the gold position with the 520 EMA crossover. So I will buy that at the end of the day. And by the way, I do, you know, you've heard me talk about Steve Burns and the courses and so forth that he has. So he has a weekly newsletter where he breaks down the markets, goes over, talks about his entries, exit, and his view on the market. He's really great at breaking down the macro economics of it all and headlines and so forth. But I've never shown you this before, but see, this is what it is. He has 3 times a week, and he spends 3 minutes on Apple, 2 minutes on Adobe, 2 minutes on HEQ. So this is his watch list here, and I look forward to watching this every single time it's out. I watched the whole thing last night, but if you're interested, you know, listen, this is really a great value right? And so it's at newtraderu.com in the weekly video newsletter. And real quick, you know, he was talking about the VIX, and what's interesting, and I'll just show you quickly. You know, the VIX is inverse of the S&P 500, right? So if the S&P 500 goes up, usually the VIX goes down, and vice versa. So what's interesting in that video newsletter is look at the VIX, right? We're at all-time highs. This should be at all-time lows, but it's not. So what's that telling you? There's a divergence there, right? If we're at all-time high on the stock market, this VIX should be all-time low, but we're not. So it's something to consider. But, you know, those are the kind of things that, you know, Steve talks about and that are interesting to hear. So, all right. The man solo says PAYC on my radar today. All right. PAYC. Yeah, nice move above the 1 ATR channel. Need to pull back into value. Okay, now we're back into value, but we went down. We went down. I like to see a couple days of sideways movement, man solo. I mean, we were down, down, down. This is the first day of sideways movement. I'd like to see one more day at minimum and then a V1, V2. I understand this is a V1, but it's a V1 up against something that never stopped going down. Do you see what I'm saying? Hey, John, good to see you. Nice to see you, my friend. John says WW. Above the 1 ATR channel, back in the value zone. We went down, we went down, we went down, we went down. And now we're underneath the 1 ATR channel. So on WW, I would need a move back up into the value zone, then a couple days down, then a higher low V1 or V2. So me personally, I don't think I would be doing anything with WW at the moment. Steve says, thanks, Greg, for sharing. You're certainly welcome, Steve, and thank you so much for that, you know, that content that you put out. I watch it religiously. Evan, good to see you, bud. Evan says, this morning I was liking CL, but it kept going up. I feel like buying now would miss out on too much profit. So in other words, chasing? Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a V2, but it, you know, we're above the 1 ATR channel. I don't like to really take on pullbacks to values. I don't like to take a trade that's higher than about 3/4 from here to here. So about here is my maximum, but this is too high. This would be too high for me as well. All right, so let me check here. Uh-oh, Beyond Meat. What did I say? I said if it closes down, I'm gonna get out. All right, so yeah, it looks like I'm gonna be getting out of Beyond Meat. I've had it for 6 days, really hasn't done much, so I'm just going to put a time stop on it. Philip Morris, all good. SPY, ready to go, buying at the close. AT&T rallying a little bit back, so it looks like a keeper. And Walmart looks like a keeper. So I will be buying gold today, as long as the 5 crosses over the 20, and it looks like that is going to happen. So I'm going to take another shot at gold, but it's not impulsive, right? It's a valid back-tested approach. All right. So I'm glad to see Alan has his PGTI. That's awesome. MPC, I think Solo is going to use a stop halfway of the bar, I believe is what he said. Dell, Solo's trade. No real chart damage there. Boy, look at Apple, everybody. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this stock. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. We'll see how it does up here at the third ATR channel if it runs out of room up here. All right. I am going to go ahead and get out of Beyond Meat. Lock in that profit there. Probably the earliest I've sold a position in a long time, huh? All right. All right. So Beyond Meat is gone. It was a profitable trade. I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I don't see any other than gold today. So we're out of Beyond Meat on the time stop. Just moved sideways, wasn't doing anything. I'd rather allocate the capital to something that's going up or looks better. Philip Morris looks like it's closing on its high. SPY, of course, going to buy that at the end of the day. AT&T. Well, the good thing right now is the close, at least now, is over the open. That is positive. And Walmart is doing great. So, profitable day today, profitable week. Always happy for all of that. I will be watching XLRE. It really has bounced off the 200 now and did form a V2, but I don't like this big old bar on this big old volume. So I'm going to let that one pass. And that looks like about it other than gold. Go AT&T, go, go, go. Evan says, no new positions for me today. All right, sounds good. Yeah, you know, the market's pretty high here. We have these double tops. We have the bearish divergences. Doesn't mean it's immediately going to go down, but it's setting the stage, right? It's running out of momentum, even though we're making new highs. Dr. Alexander Elder, whom I've studied with, you know, he believes that is the most powerful technical indicator or setup there is when you have a double bottom with a bullish divergence or a double top with a bearish divergence. But just because you have the divergence doesn't mean you can just immediately step in and buy. You have to wait for some kind of trigger. What do I think of WM? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's a nice valid V2. That's a nice valid V2. Back over the 30, back over the 200-day moving average. Let's look at the weekly. V1 on the weekly. Yeah, that's pretty good. You could either use the 200-day as your stop or you could use halfway of the washout bar. One of the two. That looks pretty sweet, and MACD is crossing over. As a matter of fact, I like that so much, I'm going to buy it. Yeah, I do like that a lot. Uh-oh, what's going on? Oh. All right. Sweet. That's a good setup. That's a good setup, Evan. I bought it. Barely I bought it. Let's take a look here. So I bought Waste Management at 375. I mean, no, it's looking at the wrong symbol. 112.02. All right, so 112.02. Yeah, rejection of the 200A, rejection of the -1 ATR channel, nice V2, MACD crossover, close above 50. It's all good. It's all good. Question here now, though, is do I want to use the 200-day as my stop or halfway the washout bar? It's a slight difference. We'll see how it reacts. But for right now, I'll just say halfway the washout bar. Thanks, Evan, for pointing that out. Evan's responsibility. Should we put that on there? No, this is Evan's trade. Oops. All right, what is happening? All right. Waste Management. And by the way, on the weekly, see how we have the higher low V1 on the weekly also? You know, I wouldn't buy it just because of this, but I like how it is complementing the daily's chart, right? But yeah, that's a serious rejection. That's a serious move over the 200. It's a serious V2 over the 50, MACD positive. You know, if I'm not going to take that, what am I going to take, right? So excellent, excellent. We'll see how that goes. And then we bought, let's see, where did we buy our SPY at? 317.32. $317.32. Okay. And then gold, where do we buy our gold at? $139.10. All right. And again, this is with the 520 crossover. As long as this keeps moving up, stays above both the 5 and the 20 on a closing basis, I will continue to hold this stock. I will continue to phase out. If we do run into resistance up at the 70 RSI, I will lock in my trade. So that's my profit target. So those are the new positions. So gold, Philip Morris, of course we have our SPY trade, we have our AT&T trade, our Waste Management, and our Walmart. Oh, that's going to be confusing. WMT. All right. So listen, if anybody has any questions, if there's anything that I discussed today that's not clear to you, if you want me to look at any more symbols, please let me know. But before I do, I just want to put in a quick plug, let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching sessions in the evening time via Skype. It's a one-on-one course, just you and I over Skype. I have a course that's 5 sessions. Each session is 2 to 3 hours, so it's quite a lot of time. I teach you everything I've learned over the last 24 years as a trader. I share with you everything I've learned from all my coaches and mentors over the year. It's very interactive. First part of the lesson I teach, and then at the end I have you teach it back to me. We do a lot of chart study. I have you break down the charts, what's good, what's bad, what's risk to reward ratio, does it make sense? But it's pretty involved, but I think it is definitely worth the money. It is $1,000, but I think really it's an investment. It really is an investment. And I think it will make you a better trader. I mean, I'm sure it will make you a better trader. I don't think. So if you're interested, usually with potential interested students, I like to have a free Skype call with them, half an hour, something like that, just to learn more about you, your trading, the challenges you've had, what your goals are, and then I'll put together a lesson plan to helpfully have you or help you achieve those goals and become a much better trader. So if you've been thinking about it and you want to at least have that free Skype call with me, just send me an email. My email's in the description of this video, or you can send me a message on Twitter. And then if you like this channel and you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. Maybe share it with your friends, tell your friends about it, help the channel grow. But at the very least, I would appreciate if you would hit the little thumbs up button down there. It helps the channel grow. It helps Google promote it to more people. And a lot of people out there that need help with trading, that is for sure. And I think if we could get them here and they watched it on a regular basis, it's going to improve their trading. So if you could, before you leave, hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate it. All right. Evan says, hopefully it will do better than AT&T. Well, we are up on AT&T, Evan, right? We are up. That's always positive. So I'm happy with AT&T so far, for sure. Did hit one profit target yesterday, right? So we never know. It's not over with AT&T, but I'm happy with AT&T. I'm glad you pointed that out. He says, waste management looks like within resistance around 112, looking back to June 19th. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, for sure. For sure, right up here, 118, 119. Oh, you're going all the way back to June, are you? Okay. Yeah, for sure. But, for this particular trade, I think it offers a good risk to reward ratio. I mean, my risk is probably, like I said, either the 200-day. Actually, now that I look at this, it is the 200-day, because that would be halfway of today's bar. So if it's gonna trend, it shouldn't come back here. So, my potential risk is here to here. My potential reward, the 100-day moving average really sticks out at me as some potential resistance. So it does offer a good risk to reward the way that I view it, not all the way up to 118. I'm not thinking about up to 118, 119. I'm thinking about possibly, up to about 114. So a couple dollars down to the down, or $1 to the downside approximately, and $2 to the upside. So it does give to me, a good risk to reward, 2-to-1 risk to reward. Oh, 112. What was I saying? 119. I must be seeing things. He says resist around 112. Oh, 19, June 19th. That's why I thought 119. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is resistance here about 112, no doubt. But we had a false breakout to the downside. We had the V2 to the upside, under 30, over 30. I'm sorry, under 50, over 50. Rejected the negative 180 ER channel above the 5 and the 10 and the 20. It looks good. It looks good. Of course, we don't know if it's going to work out or not, right? But The signals are there, and that's all we can do. Make a good educated guess depending upon a multitude of signals, and the multitude and combination of signals pretty clear. Nice V1, nice V2 with the rejection of the 1 ATR channel, rejection of the 200-day moving average, which is big, MACD crossover, and above the 50 RSI. Those are all good. Evan says, gold 520 cross owes you a good trade this time. I know. If only that was the case, that it owed you. But, you know, there will eventually be a 520 crossover on gold where it trends. I have no doubt in my mind. Is it going to be this next trade? I don't know. I don't know. You know, if you look at the back test on the 520 on gold, what you'll see is 4 losers in a row, then a winner. 5 losers in a row, then maybe a winner or 2. So it's not a high percentage winning proposition. It loses much more than it wins, but when it wins much bigger than the losses. And that's the key with those crossovers. You know, they'll get you out fairly quickly when you're wrong, and they'll keep you in for a long time if you're right. Don Robbins, the man. Good to see you, Donnie. Your sister just sent me some pictures of Kui and the kids in Hawaii just before the show started. Don says, do the one-on-one trainings team. They helped me a ton. Oh, thanks, Donnie. I appreciate it. Donnie was one of my first clients. And boy, we studied for months, didn't we, Don? We studied for months. Donnie's sharp. Donnie is sharp, and he got all of it quickly. Thanks, Don, for coming by, buddy. Ryan Durgan. Hi, Ryan. Nice to see you. I don't think I recall the name, so maybe this looks like the first time, but thank you so much. Ryan says, hey, Greg, have really been enjoying your end-of-day stuff. Question about under 30 back over 30. To which indicator are you referring? Oh, I'm referring to the RSI, Ryan. When you have a under 30, over 30 RSI reading, like, what's one recently that we had? Nope, that's wrong. Twitter. See how the RSI, here's the RSI. See this line here is the 30 RSI. We were under. Finally here on the day that I bought it, we went from under 30, over 30 RSI reading on a closing basis. In addition to that, we had a nice V2. Here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closes above. So that was the confluence of signals. And we have positive MACD, but we were under 30 on this day. On the day that we we were under 30 here. The next day we went over 30. That was the day that I bought it. And you can see we had this really, really nice trade out of there. You know, there's a lot of support at the 30 RSI. There are buyers that come in at the 30. That's the level that they come in at. Of course, I do all sorts of times, right? But I do it on a closing basis. But that's what I'm referring to. I use a 14-period RSI. I hope that helps, Ryan. Aman Solo, PTON doesn't have a signal yet, but keeping an eye on it. All right. PTON. Okay, so this is a really good example, Amount Solo. See how we're above the 1 ATR channel? Don't want to buy up here, right? See how we come back into the value zone? That's good, but it's not enough to buy. See how we rally, but just see how this rally fails, and now we have a lower high than here. When you come into the value zone and you rally, but you don't make a new high, you make a lower high and come back, you have to wash out the first low. Did we wash out the first low? Yes, we did. Now we have a nice sideways movement. Now we just need a false breakout to the downside and reversal with the V1, V2 back up. So this is excellent. This is really good, but we were above the value zone, came into the value zone, attempted to rally. It failed, giving us a lower high than this previous high. So when that happens, we have to wash out the previous low, and we did 3 times in a row, 3 days in a row. Now we have, so that's taken care of. Now we have sideways movement in the value zone. Now everything's perfect. We just need a trigger. Like Monday, if we went down, close back above today's close, I would buy that for sure. You remember gold? Remember how I mentioned to you about gold yesterday on the intraday chart that I wanted you to emblaze this into your mind? So this is intraday, right? But it doesn't matter. The example is here. We're above the 1 ATR channel, way above. Of course, we don't want to buy up here. We come back down into the value zone. Does it mean we buy right away? No. But one of the check marks is checked. Two of them are checked. Above the 1 ATR channel, come back into the value zone. That's check number 2. Check number 3, sideways movement. Does that mean we buy? Not yet. We need the trigger. Here's the trigger. Above the 1 ATR channel, back into the value zone, sideways movement. Here is day 1. Day 2 washes out, or bar 2 washes out day 1. Day 3 closes above day 1's close. That was the trigger right here, and you can see if you would have traded this intraday, that would have worked out spectacularly. But we ended up buying it up here instead, right? Because of the end of day 520 EMA cross. So we'll see how it goes. But again, on gold, we took it because the 5 crossed over the 20 EMA. If Monday we close back both below the 5 and the 20, I'll just go ahead and get out. If it closes below the 5 but not the 20, I will stay in. If we reject the 70 RSI, I will get out. JT says, AT&T is a slow mover. Yes, you're 100% right, JT. Ex-dividend January 9th. Okay. What is AT&T pays 5.3%. It's pretty good. But it's positive so far, so we will keep it until the price tells us that we don't want to keep it anymore. Yeah, 52 cents. RPD. I think that's Ryan. Cool, thanks. You're welcome, sir. Donnie says, yeah, we did a lot, and if you let Greg go on a date with your sister, oh no, do I want to read the rest of this? Yeah, we did a lot, and if you let Greg go on a date with your sister, you can get a friend and a family discount. What? If you let Greg go on a date with your sister, you can get a friend. Oh, I see. Okay. Also, you can chaperone the date. You can chaperone the date and ask Greg trading questions all night. Your sister won't mind. That's funny. That's funny. A man solo says it is embossed now. Are we talking about our waste management? No pressure, a man solo. That's going to be last second money I made or lose. But it's a good trade. It's 100%. It's a great trade. I mean, we're above the 1 ATR. I mean, if we want to get specific, we're above the 1 ATR channel. We came back into the value zone. We made a new high. That's fine. We came back into the value zone. Sideways, 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 sideways. False break to the downside. Move back up. V2. So, I mean, all in all, this is perfect. It's a beautiful return to value sideways movement with the V2. Cherry on top is that we rejected the negative 1 ATR channel, rejected the 200-day moving average, and closed and had the V2. You know, a man solo, you are so good. You and Evan, so good at picking out these setups. Are you scanning for these, or are you just going through and look at this? Because you have some really great setups. I mean, was it a man solo or Evan that pointed out UAL to me? Kind of the same thing, last second thing. Okay, well, it looks like I made the right decision on UAL, but I think it was a man solo. Oh yeah, that's right, because you actually didn't take this because you had a problem. But Ryan, so Ryan Dugan, we were talking about under 30, over 30. I took UAL back on the 11th, a couple days ago. And the reason why is we went under 30 intraday, closed back above 30. We went under the 30 ATR channel, closed above the 30 ATR channel. We went under the 200 moving average, closed above the 200-day moving average, went under the 250, back over the 250 moving average, and we had a V1. This trade has so many signals, I can't even believe it, right? And I talk about a confluence of signals. The only thing that could have been better on this is if we had a double bottom with the bullish divergence. Other than that, if I wrote out what the most perfect trade in the world is, it would be similar to this, but with the double bottom. But it was a great trade, right? I bought it here at the end of the day, hit 4 profit targets yesterday. And I did get out because I didn't like how it reacted. It looks like, and by the way, you guys know Anthony, one of my former students. So let me see if I can pull up this trade, because I don't know if he's listening, but if he does, I want to give him some profits. Vinit, what's the solar company's name, guys? Vinit, something like that. Donnie used to work for him. What's the name? Okay. VSLR. Okay. VSLR. Oh. All right. So I had a call last night. There you go, Don. Thanks, bud. I had a call last night with Anthony. He's one of my students, but I keep in touch with my students. We had a Skype call. Look at this beautiful trade Anthony had on VSLR, or on the Vinit Solar. Under the 200-day, over the 200-day, under the 50, over the 50 moving average, got close to tagging the -1 ATR channel, plus a nice sweet V1. This was up. You might not be able to tell because of the scale. Look at that. It was up 9% yesterday on that trade that he took. He hit 6 profit targets. I told him about my 4 profit targets on UAL, and he had to one-up me and said, oh, well, I had 6 profit targets today. I've never had 6 profit targets, I don't think. I think maybe I had 5. But congratulations, Anthony. Fantastic trade. Not sure if he stayed in or got out. I can't remember. But after 6 profit targets, maybe he just got out. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out and congratulate Anthony on a freaking fantastic trade. A man solo, what's with 39-minute period? Oh, so if I ever do trade intraday, which I don't do a lot, look at that. But the reason I use, a lot of people use 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hours. I use 39-minute charts. I learned this from Kerry Lavorne. So there's 390 minutes of trading in the day. So I use 39-minute charts to just break it up into 10 bars for the day. That's the reason. And I don't trade intraday very often, but if I do, I use the 39-minute bar because it just gives you 10 equal bars for the entire day. Does that make sense? Frank says, gold rising doesn't exactly signal good tidings for the markets. I 100% agree, Frank. I mean, if you remember yesterday, gold GLD closed down 1/3% yesterday when the market was up over 200 points, right? You would think that on a huge up day like that gold would be down much, much more, and it wasn't, and it held. Today, was the market up? Barely. Okay. But I agree. So if you take it all into, the context of gold being strong when the market is strong, you have the double tops with the bearish divergences, you have the divergence on the VIX, where we're making all-time high on the VIX, but on the VIX index, we've made all-time highs. This should be way down here, but it's not. We still have a 5 a 1030 EMA crossover showing that there's a lot of volatility still. MACD is positive. So you would think with the market so strong that you would see this extremely weak with really weak readings, and you don't. So gold is strong. There's a divergence of VIX compared to the markets. So we'll see what happens with this gold trade, but I like taking this gold trade. I like having a little bit of offsetting, a little bit of a hedge, right? I don't buy a hedge just to buy hedge, but I have to have a valid signal to buy it. But I'm glad I don't have only stocks, right? And I'm glad that I have, I told you earlier that a lot of the consumer staples were strong today, like defensive stocks like Coca-Cola, very strong today. Philip Morris we have, right? Strong today. I can't think of another one right now. Yeah, I can't think of another one right now. So I am concerned about the market. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to take trades, but sometimes it's fun to do your own little speculation on the big picture. One of my main things is we've had the China trade deal now, as Steve pointed out in his video newsletter. This one right here at newtraderu.com, he mentioned, and he's totally right, that now the China deal is priced in. It was kind of the carrot on the stick. Everyone was waiting. They didn't want to be out of the market when that came, but now it's priced in. Now what's the driver? What's the next driver to move this market higher? Maybe there is one. One doesn't come to me off the top of my head. JT says, oh, okay. This is JT speaking to Man Solo. Okay. Check out Stock Fetcher website for scanning. Oh, is that what JT uses? Okay, good. Thanks for that, JT. Man Solo says, I have a Thinkorswim scan set up for over under 30 NASDAQ and New York only, but the rest are from the stocks I track for fun. I do want to point out here, again, I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the show, but in my humble opinion, just because a stock goes under 30, over 30, just by itself, it's good, but if it's a no-name stock that doesn't have a lot of institutional following, to me, it's not as strong. If you have an Apple under 30, over 30, and you have thousands, hundreds of thousands of traders, if not more, seeing that, then it becomes more of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you have an under 30, over 30 on a small cap stock that no one's really heard of and doesn't have hundreds of thousands of people watching it every day, it's not as valid and not as effective in my opinion. Does that make sense? Let's see what Virgin Galactic's doing. Had this nice sideways movement, big move up. Need to pull back into value. Doesn't have enough data to give me all the indicators. JT says, code I use for V1s is show stocks where open. Okay, you start talking about code, my eyes glaze over, JT. I'm going to have to read this real carefully. Code I use for V1s is show stock where open is below the day's position. Not the open, but the low. The low. The open doesn't matter where the open is, JT. It's the low of that second day has to be lower than the first by a quarter ATR. Oh, I guess I should have read the rest before. And low below the lower Keltner band within the last 1 day, and low below low 1 day ago, close above 1 day ago. Okay, so my eyes just glazed over because I'm really bad with coding and that kind of stuff. But sounds like JT's good with it. I actually did have some code written for V1s, V2s, and I guess it's kind of similar to that. But it does not have to go below the lower Keltner band, but it's better if it is. So I guess that's a better scan then, right? Where you're only picking out the ones that rejected. Like here, right? It did go below the low, the previous day's low. The open really doesn't matter though. But the low, the lowest point of the range goes below the previous day's low, closes back above, and you can see it rejected the -1 HER channel, which is I think what JT has in his code there. So thanks for that, JT. Frank says the IAU ties up less cash. Oh, okay. So that's instead of GLD because it's less expensive. Okay, good. It also had a 520 crossover as well. All right. Well, good day today. Happy for that. And a good profitable day, profitable week, all that kind of stuff. And there's Beyond Meat. All right. We'll see if I made the right decision, but I just didn't like the sideways movement. It did go from positive to negative. The close was under the open, so that's why I decided to trade it to another team. All right. Well, I guess that's about it. Listen, I appreciate everybody coming. A man solo, thank you as always. Good to see you. Thank you for the waste management setup. We'll see how that goes. Hope it goes well for both of us. But have a good weekend. Frank, good to see you. Thanks for the information about IAU and your great sayings. That's great. Thanks. I hope you have a good weekend. JT, thanks, buddy. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate you coming every day. Hope you have a good weekend. Donnie, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming. Hope you come back, my friend. And RPD, I think, is the same as... Now, where did it go? I can't remember. So we'll just say goodbye to RPD then. Ryan. Yeah, Ryan Dugan. So thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you coming. Hope you come back. Hope you have a nice weekend. Evan, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming. Have a nice weekend. Bing Hee, hope you have a good day in Singapore. Thank you for coming. Evan, I already said goodbye. Steve Burns, thank you, sir. Hope you have a nice weekend. Thanks again for putting me on your list. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. Always great to have you here. Say hello to Holly. Give the dog a pet for me. John, hope that helped on WW. Hope you have a nice weekend. Celtic, thanks for coming, and hope you keep coming back. Alan Bailey, congratulations on your trade on PGTI, and we'll be watching that. Actually, PGTI. We're going to put Alan's name on there so we can put his little name badge. So that's Alan's trade. We'll see how he managed that going forward. Okay, and Celtic said goodbye. Hope that helped on Dollar Tree. Natum, nice to see you. Thank you for coming back, and thanks for posting and saying hello. Christopher Hitchin, thank you, sir. Nice to see you as always, and have a good evening in Europe, in England. And Pat O'Connell, thank you for coming by today. I think this is the first time, so hope you keep coming back. Hope you have a nice weekend. Marco, my friend, that's our good friend Marco in Slovenia, and it's great to have you here. If I can ever help you with anything, buddy, you just let me know. Jesse, thank you. Nice having the chat with you the other night, and be careful at your job. And William Green, good to see you. Or, oh, I guess I should call you Bill unless you're in trouble, right? Like your wife. But good seeing you. And William from Hawaii, good seeing you. And I think that's everybody. Ryan D. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I don't know why it switched. Okay. Gotcha. All right. And Bing Hee, no no waste management from. No, waste management was from Evan, not me. Okay, sorry. Sometimes I misspeak and trying to keep it all. Was it from Evan or a man solo? Oh man. Yes, it was from Evan. Oh, and I put Evan. What am I thinking? Sometimes I get them mixed up. Sorry, everybody. All right, so that's it. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Go out and do something nice for somebody today, okay? Just a wave or say hello or hold the door open. You know, you might impact their life just with the smallest little thing, and it might improve their day, and they may go on and do that for someone else. So always a good thing to do. It's free, doesn't take a lot of effort, but it might make a big difference. So we need more of that in this world. And like I said, if you have not hit the thumbs up button, guys, on the way out, if you forgot, this is your quick little reminder. I would appreciate it. Okay, so have a good rest of your day, and hopefully see you Monday in the last hour of the market. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.